All right, after 2.5 days, it's done. The building is done. I am very, very excited about this. It's just huge. It's monstrous. You know, when I was designing it in my web browser, I was like, okay, let's make it bigger. Let's make it bigger. Let's make it bigger. You know, I wanted something that I wouldn't regret not having be too small, you know. And here it is, 60 feet wide by 30 feet by 16 feet tall with this 12-foot overhang. So if I crunch the numbers on the price, the building that I paid to the company to build the building was about $34,000. I got a bunch of extra options. I got a reinforced roof, so the roof was vertical. That allowed the joists to be much higher so I can build up. There's another version where the joists are lower. You'll notice that the metal cladding is horizontal. A lot of these, you see them, they're vertical. And there's different options, but you'll see in here, you see all of the metal framing. This is galvanized. I don't know what gauge it is, but it's pretty darn thick. And they got two beams welded together all across the building. So the load-bearing portion is on these long edges, not on the side edges. That's why you can have this whole thing wide open. And you can kind of see the load-bearing thing where a door at one end didn't need any additional reinforcement because there's no load-bearing there. But even a smaller door at this end needed a huge header to cross the two beams that were cut, or three beams that were cut, in order to be able to handle the load-bearing weight. Which makes me realize that if you're designing these things, you put a door on the side, it costs them more in material than to put one at either end. I don't know if they charge you for that, but you can see significantly more work goes into putting a large door on the long side because it's the weight-bearing side. That's something to know. And I got a little small door here, and then I got a big door over here. I plan to put windows or something in the future. It sure would have been nice to have some skylights up there because I could probably get by with not even needing lighting in this during the day if I had some skylights. But it's huge, it's expansive, there's some extra materials they left. The crew that came out that did this was 4 Hispanic people. 2 of them spoke fluent English, and they just knocked it out. They worked really hard from 7 in the morning to 8 at night. They worked until this got too dark to work. It was pretty impressive. And everybody told me they're going to come out, they're not even going to be able to speak English, but they will do a good job, you know. And I lucked out, and I didn't have any problems with the language barrier or anything like that. And they worked really, really hard. I have absolutely no complaints about the people that put this thing together. And again, 2.5 days, this whole thing went up. And you see these joists? They fabricated them in pieces, and then one of them had a strap, and they literally like pulled it up while 2 of them held it. It was really amazing. I thought they were going to use the telehandler to lift all of this stuff, but they didn't. They did it manually. And maybe they could use a telehandler, but I expressed concern about the thing coming up on the slab and cracking it. And they were like, you know, if we crack slab, it's not our fault, right? And I said, I don't know if I would say that. It might be your fault. And I think that prompted them to go to their backup plan, which was to manually pull the hoists up. So they did all this work without bringing the telehandler onto the slab. Again, you got to hold your ground when you're dealing with these contractors, because chances are they have a number of different ways to do things. And if they get your permission to do it an easier way that might give you some more liability, they will try to get away with it. Hold your ground. Say, no, you don't crack the slab. Don't put anything on the slab that you think might damage it. And this lot here that I have this on is certainly a less than ideal lot because it's up on a hill. They couldn't get their vehicle in. They arrived with a dually with a big long trailer on it, and it carried the entire building. I thought there was going to be at least 1, maybe 2 18-wheel tractor trailers. No, they showed up with the entire building on one trailer towed by a dually, a Ford pickup truck. Unbelievable. And, you know, it was all just packed together. They've got a system down to do this, and they know exactly what they're doing. So, my thoughts about how strong the building is, I really think it's going to hold up really, really nice. I'm very pleased with it. I do have a problem with the slab, which I've probably talked about if I've done some more videos on this. the cement contractor made the slab 1 inch too short. I told the company I got it from, and they said, well, then you're going to have to redesign the whole building. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. So I came out and I extended the slab by 8 inches in 2 directions. Now, it really only needed to be extended by 1 inch, but I couldn't do a 1 inch thing. It just wouldn't have worked at all. So I did an 8 inch one. And you can see here, one side of the building overlaps the slab. So there's no way rain can come in to the building. But on this side, if rain comes down, it could go underneath this and into the building. This is the issue that I have with this thing sitting on the slab instead of the cladding being wrapped around it. Luckily, there's 2 sides that it's wrapped around because I had it go all the way into the corner. There's 2 sides that aren't. So that side is all the way wrapped around. This side isn't. But this one entire side has got this overhang. So it's very unlikely I'm going to get much water coming in through that. This is the side I'm going to have to worry about because it is exposed to the elements. But I'm going to get some caulk. I'm going to caulk this all up and I'm going to see what happens. This is not something that I'm going to put carpeting in or anything, so I don't really need to worry about it too much. But obviously I want to make sure this thing doesn't flood. It's up high on a hill. You can see everything's going to flow downward, so hopefully I'm not going to have any problems. So that was kind of one of the things that I had to learn, was the problem with this slab. This was like an extra $7,000 to do this little overhang, and I am so glad I did it because it just looks really good and it gives me so much more usable space. So I have the best of both worlds. I have a covered, sealed inside, and then I also have this large outside area that I can also put stuff in as well. You can see I chose 2 doors with a little small entryway. Their doors that they use, these 36-inch doors, I thought they would be a standard thing you get at Lowe's. They're not. They're super cheap. This doesn't even lock. I'm going to have to replace the whole door assembly. It's really cheap crap. The doors here work fairly well. This one locks from the outside, so I'm going to have to put some locks on that. The one on the inside locks from the inside. I got these, there's an option, it was $100 more to put this around the top header to seal it. But this stuff works okay for the smaller door because you can grab it and push it down. But they put it on this big door, and then the installer said, you know, you might not like this because when you try to roll it down, it'll get stuck on that little seal. And I said, okay, never mind, take it down. And so this is just a chain, and I just roll it down. I think there's going to be a little gap up at the top that I'm going to have to it's going to be there. I don't know if it's going to make a big difference or not. Otherwise, the building seems to be fairly well sealed and insulated. I've got this bubble insulation that I think is going to work okay, but it is plastic, so I'm worried about it scratching. I'm going to have to be really careful with that. But you can see it's between the cladding and the joist, so it's actually screwed into the back. And so the entire building has insulation on it. Maybe not a ton, but that's fine for right now. I do think you could probably throw an air conditioning unit in this place and it would probably, it's relatively well insulated. I come back here and I look at this and I'm just still really blown away at how big it is. It's really impressive. And it's going to be a fun project to try to do some things with. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to prep it so that it will be relatively water resistant. Because this thing is sitting on top of the slab, if rain comes down, it can go underneath there on the floor. So I have been, this is how I broke my phone. I was leaning down here with caulk and I was siliconing this bottom part here. And I must have broke the phone. It was in my pocket. So I've got some problems. The cement people really kind of screwed things up in a big way. You can see it when you go inside. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You see the light there? That's the slab where it is not level. Look at that. There's a big gaping hole there. And water will definitely flow in through that. This is the cement people not doing a good job. They didn't make the slab flat in this corner. You can see all elsewhere. This is where I worked. It's all nice and flat. There's no light sticking out. But right here, we've got a problem. I don't know what to do about it. Obviously, there's always a problem of water possibly coming in through this door. I'm wondering if I can build a little hump or something to go around it. I don't know, but you know, it's an issue, and I'm going to have to try to figure something out. If you've got some ideas, let me know what you think.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in and continuing to support my channel and my efforts here. It means a lot to me. If you'd like to find out more and want to contact me, you can go to wisdomstudios.com. That's my main website, and that'll have links to all of my other social media, Facebook groups, and other kinds of stuff like that. To find me on YouTube, it's going to be YouTube/wisdomstudio without an S, whereas the website is wisdomstudios.com. Until next time, thanks so much for your support. Be sure to subscribe.